Now, hello everybody and welcome to the Business Growth Club. This is video number 4 in our 5-part series designed to give new members a very warm welcome and to give you some proven ways to kickstart your membership and to start growing your business straight away. Now, on Monday night we looked at the target market and how important that was. On Tuesday we looked at 5 messages you should always use in your marketing. And yesterday we looked at some ways that you could increase the number of sales in your business. Now today we're going to look at 7 further ways that you can get more sales and more customers into your business. Okay, the first way for today is to use postcards. I'm personally a very big fan of postcards when they're used in marketing, and they're a very successful medium. Now let's have a look at why they're so successful. First of all, they're low cost. As marketing goes, they are a very low cost item. Number 2, they're very effective. Number 3, they give you an instant impact in your marketing. Because you can use direct response marketing, you'll see a return very quickly. Perhaps more importantly, postcards can be used for business to business businesses or business to consumer businesses. So, whether your target market is another business or whether your target market is the general public, postcards work just as well. Now, there are 3 main reasons why postcards grab people's attention and are a very effective medium. The first one is because they're already open. Unlike a sales letter, which is contained in an envelope, and it is a big challenge to get people to open the envelope, unfold the letter and have a look at it. That's a challenge and that decreases your response rates. A postcard is already open. Secondly, it stands out as a clutter buster, not only because it is already open and it's graphically appealing and it's easier to read, but also very few businesses actually use postcards. If you look at the post you've received in your business in the last 5 days, you'll probably find that there's an awful lot of letters, maybe the occasional leaflet, but there isn't very many postcards, so they stand out because they're different. Finally, they actually get noticed. Because your message is so much more accessible, you grab people's attention. If you remember what I said in the first video, that your marketing has to grab people's attention, then their interest, then their desire, and then their action, with a postcard, that first challenge, sometimes the hardest challenge, to take people's attention and get noticed, to be accessible, is already achieved by a postcard. Now you can use a postcard to promote just about anything. I've given you 9 examples there, but I easily could have given you 99 different examples. If we have a look what we have here, this is actually quite a good technique, is to send a letter as a follow-up to a sales meeting. We all attend sales consultations with people, be them on the telephone, face-to-face, as a group meeting, a seminar, however you conduct your business, you will have some sort of sales interaction. Sending a well put together postcard as a follow-up to remind people about your unique perceived benefit, your core benefits, the offers, your social proof, all of that sort of stuff works very well. Yesterday we talked about seasonal offers, and a postcard is very amenable to promoting a seasonal offer. Especially as seasonal offers can hit or tap into the idea of having a very strong graphic. If it's a Christmas offer, or if it's a New Year's resolution offer, or something like this, you can be very creative with your graphic designer, and that will produce a very striking image. Now on a postcard, a striking image will get it noticed straight away, so that's a very powerful technique. There's all manner of special offers that you can use, and a postcard's a great way to promote any of those. If you have a new product that you want to introduce to the market, or a new service, or just something you're doing differently in your business, then a postcard is a great way to promote it. Also, if you have a holiday postcard, this is actually when you go on holiday. You don't necessarily have to go on holiday. And I'm not suggesting when you go on holiday you do really send people postcards. But say if you've got 2 weeks holiday planned in a few weeks' time, work with your graphic designer, get a holiday postcard for wherever it is you're going, and then send something to your customers or somebody like that saying, I'm on holiday, nice to connect with you, and then you can share a message with them in that way. Because it's quite novel, that's a technique which can work quite well. Postcards, because you can actually fit an awful lot of content in them because they're double-sided, especially if you choose slightly larger postcards, you can actually send a mini newsletter. and that's quite powerful. A normal newsletter these days is still an effective medium, but they're harder to read. If you send the online ones, you've got all sorts of problems with graphics being blocked and other barriers in your way, whereas a simple postcard, it's an easy read and it's a nice little newsletter. Or indeed, if you're working with your PR agency and you're trying to put press releases out there, you can take a press release, put some nice images in, and they make a very good postcard to do. Just a good way of connecting with your customers and your prospects and other people. As a thank you offer, sometimes when people make a first purchase to you, say if you're a low value purchase, that's something people will purchase several times over. So I think I used the example yesterday of a spa or a health club or something like this. People visit for a treatment. You can send them a postcard thanking them very much and giving them an offer to return for the second visit. This could be used very well for all sorts of small purchases that rely on people coming back time and time again. Take, for example, a restaurant. Restaurants could do very well out of using postcards to thank people for attending. Capturing people's details in a restaurant is nowhere near as difficult as people believe, and it would actually be quite novel, wouldn't it, if you went out for a great meal, then a few days later somebody said, "Please come back again," and gave you some reasons to do that. Eighthly, driving traffic to your website or a lead page, and if you don't know what a lead page is, I'll be telling you what one is tomorrow. But if you want to drive traffic to your website or your lead page, a postcard is a great way of doing that. Say you've got a brilliant video or a brilliant promotion on your website. You can send a postcard asking people to visit your website. And it's actually a very effective way of driving traffic to your website. Now the final idea is to use them as a flyer or an insert for magazine advertising. If you're currently advertising in magazines or trade journals, so you have an advertisement placed within that magazine, then if you also take out the option to advertise via an insert postcard, so they're the ones that are stuffed in the front so when people open it they see them, then later on they see your advert, then that's actually a very proven technique for increasing the effectiveness of the advertising with magazines, because it's a double hit. So there are just 9 ways that you can use postcards. I'm sure you can see at least half of those will apply to your business, if not all of them. Okay, now here's just a little formula if you are going away and you're putting together some postcards. First of all, you need a very powerful headline. For any marketing, including your website, you need a powerful headline, but never more so than in a postcard. And it must be benefit-led as well. And if you've got a very strong target market, say you're advertising to a certain area of town or a certain industry, a certain profession, using that profession, so it might be Newcastle Town Centre, it might be Jesmond, it might be County Durham, or it might be accountants or solicitors, it might be graphic designers, whatever it happens to be, you can use that noun in your actual headline, in your benefit-driven section there, and that's a very effective technique. That should grab people's attention. But to help that go along, if you use some great eye-catching images, and as I've said, a lot of the offers you can run on postcards allow you to do some great creative images, then that's just going to pull people in. You've got there the combined effect of a brilliant headline, potentially with a target noun in there, along with a great eye-catching image. It's a good little combination. The next, always use an offer. So once you've got their attention, there's some great graphics, pull them in with an offer and tease them on the front page with that offer. Then on the reverse side, do the selling. Spell your benefits out more. Use the offer and give some real benefits for using that offer. Then use some of your social proof, and most importantly, call people to action. So I'm sure you can see that idea number 1, postcards, is a very effective way of growing your business. It's applicable for all types of businesses and all types of offers and all types of marketing. Okay, the second one is to look at why customers are actually leaving, because this represents a brilliant opportunity. Some customers have left your organization, but I wonder why. If I asked you why people leave, I'm pretty sure you'd tell me most people left because of price or dissatisfaction or unhappy with your service. But here's some research here, and this research has been repeated across the Western world, and you get results pretty much within a couple of percent like this. We find 4 people, well, 4 in every 100 people, 4% leave the marketplace. They're people who decide, I don't need, say, that loft conversion. People, they move to a flat or they move overseas or something like that. They just move the marketplace. They're no longer in your sphere. You can't do anything about that. 5% leave because of a referral to a competitor. Somebody says to them, say that business coach example, I've got a better business coach than your business coach, and they leave. Fair enough. 9% respond due to competitor marketing. So somebody else has marketed to them and convinced them that their services are better than yours. 15% leave due to dissatisfaction because they're unhappy with the service you're providing. Now, if you add all of them up, you realise that that's only 1 in every 3 customers, which means 2 in every 3 customers must be leaving you for another reason. Now, the research always finds that they leave due to a lack of contact or indifference, which I think you'll find is quite staggering. As I said, had I asked you before I put that slide up, why do customers leave, I'm quite sure you'd say, in the main they leave due to dissatisfaction or price. However, the simple truth is, while some people may leave because of the dissatisfaction or price, the vast majority left simply because we failed to contact them, or we treated them indifferently. And this is quite criminal, really, isn't it? We just didn't support these people enough. We didn't care about them enough. We didn't think about them enough. Such simple stuff that we could do. Obviously, those 6 ideas I gave you for communicating with your customers would stop them from leaving in the first place, or stop 2 in every 3 leaving in the first place. But let's look at the opportunity of these lapsed customers. 67 out of every 100 customers, according to that research and all the other research like it, must be able to be won back by you. Now, I'm not suggesting you win all of them back, but if you put back a campaign where you try and attract your lapsed customers to rejoin your services, and you can use that by the offers we've already talked about, how many of them would come back? Now, you've got to ask yourself, why did people leave? There was a reason, and it may have been lack of contact, it may have been the sort of stuff we've talked about. Solve that reason, find out why and solve that reason, then encourage people to come back. You'd be surprised how effective sending a compelling offer to lapsed customers is. I've done this through all types of businesses in so many different sectors, and it always works very well. Okay, the third one is continuing on that theme, if you will, your past prospects. Now, this is quite a stark statistic, but only 2% of businesses actually fully maximize the inquiries. Now, we define a prospect as somebody who's contacted you to make an inquiry. Might be because of they've read your advert, they went on your website, a recommendation, whatever it happens to be, they make an inquiry. Now, research finds that it takes up to 7 contacts in order for somebody to buy from your services. In fact, this is not uncommon. The companies that do follow people up 7 times or more find that very regularly it's the 4th, 5th, 6th or 7th contact in which somebody agrees to sign up to the services. But here's the point. Only 2% of businesses actually follow up 7 times. Now, that must mean that 98% of businesses need to do some more following up. Now, you've already invested money in your marketing to attract that inquiry, and you've already pitched your service to them to some extent. Don't let that go by not following up effectively. Now, something prevented that person from signing up for your services. Generally speaking, it's just a lack of follow-up contacts. They may just not have been the right time, they had a few barriers, they had a few questions, they just needed a little bit more time to contemplate the purchase. If you delicately and sensitively, every time you contact them, agree the next time you'll follow them up, answer their queries, and agree when you'll speak to them in the future, you will find that you will increase your sales conversion by a considerable amount. Remember, it takes customers a long time to trust you, and you've got to take that journey with them, and you've got to stick with them and slowly, ethically, and effectively move them towards the point where they want to do business with you. Obviously, some people say, no, I'm not interested, I don't want your services, I'm going to use one of your competitors. That's fine. But a lot of people will just say, oh well, maybe not quite now. Well, when would be the right time? When should I contact you in the future? And just record all of that. As I said before, we're going to be looking at how you do that with contact with your customers and your prospects in more detail in April in one of the recordings like this. So we'll give you more skills, but I just want to bring you aware of this topic right now. Now, if we say that we want to build relationships with our customers and lapsed customers, prospects and past prospects, then the internet has given us a really easy way of doing that. Picking up the telephone or sending letters and physically meeting with people offline is quite expensive in terms of money and time. However, using the electronic resources that's available, you can cultivate those relationships and you can affect those follow-ups so much easier. It's a lot less invasive, it's a lot softer, and actually it's a lot cheaper and time effective, but it still works. Of course, you've got the option of your automated emails via your email follow-ups, and we'll look at that in the future. But you can also be following people and connecting with them and starting conversations with them on Twitter. And the same with LinkedIn, the same with Facebook. Now, there's an added bonus here, which is, with the Twitter, you can be listed, or LinkedIn, you can get recommendations, or Facebook, you can get your business page liked. So that's one advantage, because that's a social proof we've talked about. But the other advantage is you're interacting with people, and you're starting these conversations, you're building these relationships, you're affecting these follow-ups in a very soft and delicate way. So if I say to you, you've got to follow people up and keep going with them and keep connecting, and this sounds quite difficult, of course social media makes it so easy for you to do that. Now our fifth one is to use dead stock. Now not every business listening to this will have stock, of course, but if you are a stock-based business, I can almost guarantee you'll have dead stock that's tying up your cash flow and reducing profits. Remember, we define dead stock as 2.5 times your usual turnaround time. So if usually something will be off the shelves in, say, 10 days, then 2.5 times that is a problem, and it's dead stock, tying up your cash flow and reducing your profits. Now, most businesses don't know what to do to offer dead stock to their customers. That's why they keep them just stocking up the store cupboard. Now, here's just 3 very quick ideas you can use to get rid of your dead stock, to untie that cash flow and get the stuff moving through your business. First of all, you can offer it as a free bonus to profitable sales, or you can use it for bulk orders where you can afford to discount, or some time-limited offers to get it out the door. Second one, you can just have a discounted sale. I'm not a huge fan of discounts, but when you've got stock that's not moving, if you start to discount it, you will get it out the door, and you've got to get rid of this dead stock. And eBay these days makes that so easy. There isn't anything apart from live animals or whatever that you can't sell on eBay. Just about everything you can sell on eBay now. So that's a great way of you actually reaching a larger marketplace and getting rid of this dead stock. Or you can have the bulk orders to another supplier. You would be surprised, I've done this so many times with clients. You can bundle up all your dead stock and sell it onto another supplier. Maybe it's somebody with an eBay site, maybe it's another store out there that can use it. But what's dead stock for you isn't necessarily dead stock for somebody else. Don't forget, the big retail chains are always moving around their stock from different areas of the country. It might not be moving in Leeds, but you send it over to Birmingham and it starts moving. There's lots of reasons why that happens. So if you're a stock-based business, get your dead stock moving. You should never have dead stock in your business. Implement those 3 ideas and you've got a dead stock strategy to keep the stock flowing, to untie that cash flow, and to increase your profits. Remember, marketing is based on return on investment. So as a side point here, make sure you're measuring your return on investment. Return on investment is simply how much you spent on a marketing piece and how much return on investment it brought. So let's say you know that each customer is worth £1,000 to you. And let's say you've placed an advert in a newspaper that costs £500. So the cost is £500, each sale is worth £1,000. Let's say you get 5 sales, that's £5,000. So you had a £500 investment, you got £5,000 in sales, so that's a tenfold return on investment. Now, tenfold return on investment is quite a good return on investment. Only you can decide what's an acceptable return on investment. I would generally suggest as a broad rule that for every £1 you spend on marketing, if you're not getting £3 or more back, then you could probably optimize that. Now, you will be marketing at this moment in time. You're probably doing stuff like your websites, adverts, your proposals, the networking scripts you're using, sales letters you might be sending out, or indeed the tactics you use in your sales consultation with somebody. Now, all of these can be optimized, and it will only take you a couple of hours. Now, if you cast your mind back to Tuesday night's recording, I said there are 5 great messages that you should always use in your marketing. First of all, you should add your unique selling proposition or your unique perceived benefit. Number 2, You should add your core benefits. If you remember, we said there were features and there were benefits, and people need to know the benefit behind your feature. Thirdly, you should always run a special offer, as the more offers you run, the higher the chances are that people will respond, and therefore the greater your return on investment. Using social proof in the format of case studies, written testimonials, or video testimonials will also optimize your marketing. Finally, you should always run a call to action. Attention, interest, desire, then action. Don't miss out that crucial final step. So as you can see, they're the 5 ones we talked about yesterday, the 5 ways to optimize your marketing. Now, if you open up your website copy, a sales letter, an advert you're using, whatever form of marketing you're doing right now, and ask yourself, am I using all 5 of these key marketing messages? And if I'm not, then I need to add them right away. Now, if you were just to spend maybe 30 minutes on each one of those topics there, write them down for your business, and then add them to your website, your adverts, and all of that sort of stuff, I can guarantee it will give you a much stronger marketing piece, a much better return on investment, and all you will have spent is a couple of hours. Now, the 6th one I've put there is to follow up. It's very important that you always follow up, as we've explored in this video. So if you're going to do those 5 great activities to optimize your marketing, then make sure you follow the 6th rule there to follow up as well. In fact, ask yourself, is there some marketing you've done in the last couple of months that you haven't fully followed up on? If there is, then I recommend that you start to follow up straight away. Now, our final idea for today is Google AdWords advertising or pay-per-click advertising. Now, you'd be right to tell me that there's other forms of online advertising and display advertising. Now, don't worry about them. We will be covering them in future weeks, months, and years with the Business Growth Club. But today, I just want to focus on the most basic form of online advertising, the pay-per-click with Google AdWords. Now, some of you might already have a Google AdWords account. Some of you, this might be a totally new idea. I'm guessing most of you have probably heard of it. You may have dabbled with it a little bit, maybe you haven't, but perhaps it's not working fully effectively for you. Now, I can tell you that AdWords is easily one of the most effective forms of advertising and marketing available today. Why do I say this with so much confidence? It's highly targeted. You choose the search terms. Now, I'll be looking in the future at how you actually research search terms so you can make sure you find the right ones for your business. But fundamentally, you get to pick what search term people are typing in. So when people go into Google and they type in, I want a new business coach, I want a new training course, I want a new bike to buy my child for Christmas, I want to go on holiday, I want flights to a certain place, absolutely anything that people type into Google, you get to choose which of those search terms you want to appear on. Okay? Now, don't forget Google and other search engines are a searching and researching medium. The whole reason we open up Google, and most of us do it several times a day, is to find out the answer to something. Okay, we sometimes use it to check Hotmail and to go on Facebook and those types of activities, but most of the time we get up Google and we go, right, I need to know how I can get flights to London tomorrow. I need to know how I can do X, Y, Z. Whatever your business is, people will be researching stuff related to your business. Now, there's only one reason why people search stuff online, and that's to find out more about it. And that will usually lead to a purchase. So why wouldn't you want to be there in front of people who are trying to research the area that you're an expert on, the area that you've set up a business on? Now, as if that wasn't good enough, the other something with pay-per-click advertising with AdWords is it never stops getting better. You follow a model of continuously testing, measuring, and adapting and improving. I'll show you how to do that in the future, but once you start placing your adverts and you get better at it, not only do Google reward you, but you also get a higher return on investment, so your marketing becomes more and more successful. Now, you should always optimize every marketing campaign you run, but if you get really good at direct mail, you get to a point with a campaign where you're getting the same returns time and time again. You might slightly improve stuff and get a couple of tiny little improvements here and there, a few more inquiries, but you get to a point where you're pretty much at the top of your game. With Google, you can really make huge strides every single day. and you really can keep adding 5 and 10%, which you just can't do with other forms of marketing. It truly does keep getting better and better and better. And also, Google gets better and better and better at rewarding you, because Google really want to take your money. Okay? They want to take your money because they want to make money. They're in business like the rest of us. Of course, the only way they can take money off you is by giving you successful targeted traffic. So it's an absolute win-win. Google want to make money out of you, but the only way they can do that is by giving you highly targeted, well-qualified traffic on the search terms you want straight onto your website. Okay, so just remember this. Anything people search for online related to your business, you can be there. Your business can be there. Any search term people type in, you have the choice to set up an AdWords account so that your advert will appear and say, "Dear Mr. Customer, click on me, come to my website and find out what I have to offer for you." It's an incredibly powerful form of marketing. There are other forms of online marketing. Some of them are very emerging and very new and quite untested, but some of them are working very well provisionally, and I'll share some of those with you in the coming weeks, months and years. But for now, remember, Google AdWords is the most basic, it's the most readily available, and it can work for any business. Okay, so that's 7 ideas that you can use in your business straight away to start to get more sales and more profit. I promised you the pros and cons and costs of them, so let's have a look at them very quickly now. Our first idea today was postcards, which are very fast, effective and easy. However, there is a downside. Generally speaking, they work better with an offer, so you need to develop an offer first, and secondly, there is a cost involved. Obviously, you need to pay 46p per postcard to actually post it. It's the price of a first-class stamp. But also you need to print and design the postcards. However, they're still quite cheap. A lot of people use leaflets. Postcards are generally cheaper than leaflets, and in my experience work considerably better. You can get around 1,000 postcards, high quality, designed and printed for around about £200 for 1,000, which is a pretty good ratio there for any form of marketing. The next two, lapsed customers and past prospects, well, basically it will cost you nothing. If you're sending them a letter, then I guess that's going to cost you a little bit of money, or a postcard, but fundamentally it's a free form of marketing. It's also very easy. Number 4 was social media. The pros are, it really helps you to build relationships. The disadvantages are, there is still a time element involved. It's much lower than if you were to do it via telephone or letter, but there's still time involved, and these sites like Twitter, Facebook, people do find that they become a little addictive and you have to watch that. They're also slow burn. Social media is not really a way of generating all that many leads, and they're not going to come quickly. It's more a way of cementing relationships, of growing relationships, and allowing them to burgeon over a decent period of time. If you've got a stock-based business, idea number 5 was to get rid of your dead stock. The great stuff with that is it's great for your cash flow and it's great for your profitability. And I can't think of 2 better reasons in business to do something than that. There are no real downsides. Your dead stock is dead stock. You've got to get rid of it. Okay, the 6th idea was to optimize your marketing. Now this really is an open goal. It's free. It's very easy. There's no real time involved. I think a couple of hours is all it's going to take you to optimize your website or your adverts and stuff like that. It really is just a couple of hours. There's no cost involved. It will increase your return on investment. I really would encourage you, if you do none of the other ideas today, just go and optimize those pieces. Finally, we said pay-per-click. The massive, massive, massive pro is that it's highly targeted. It's targeted marketing like no other. The downside is there is cost involved, you've got to be dedicated and you've got to get good at it. Now we will be revisiting pay-per-click several times over because it's a complicated area, it's a real great opportunity, but you've got to know what you're doing. So I will help you, and if you're working on it now and you send me some questions for a question and answer service, I'll do my best to answer them. But we will revisit this. So you do need to have a bit of a budget, you do have to be dedicated, but it really could give you some amazing returns on investment. Okay, so they were the pros and cons. So in summary, today we've given you 2 very powerful direct response tactics in respect to pay-per-click advertising and postcards. We've given you a couple of ways to connect or reconnect with your prospects and your lapsed customers, and 1 way to build relationships without cost in the shape of social media. We've given you 6 ways to optimize all of your marketing pieces and 3 ways to move your dead stock. So hopefully that's been really useful for you. They're 7 very powerful ideas. I hope you can take just one of them and apply them to your business. You'll be getting the final part, number 5, in this series tomorrow, which will give you another 7 ways of growing your business. So you'll hear from me again in 24 hours' time. But until then, I hope you have a great time in business, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.